All right, now we finally have the ability to question our suspect. Face to face with potentially ABC killer.
This man is not in good shape.
Breathing heavily. Crumpled jacket. Lowered eyes. Shaking hands.
He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hard on him.
Was it the Doncaster police? Whatever. Information added to Poirot's notebook about Alexander Bonaparte Cust. He lives at the Marbury Guest House, where he rents a room on a yearly basis. He is a door-to-door stockings seller. He was in each town where there was a murder. All right. Oh, sometimes it does this thing where I can't choose my selections until after I click on something else.
I am not going to leave before having...
There we go.
What do you want from me?
Ask if he knows to whom he is speaking. Well, okay, that's a little... Ask if he knows who is speaking to him. Present yourself. Ask who he is. If you are ABC, you should know who I am.
Good day, ABC. Do you know who I am?
Someone who's got it in for me.
I am Hercule Poirot, and I want nothing other than the truth.
Ah, you're the detective.
Talk about the letters. Ask why he sent the letters. Let's talk about them.
Yes, I am the person you have been sending the letters to.
I didn't write these letters. I've already said so.
Acknowledge his innocence. Get him to admit that he's forgotten.
Maybe you forgot that you wrote these letters.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Ask if he is capable of killing. Accuse him of being a killer. Admit that you do not believe he is a murderer. So, this is what I think. And it seems like this is then what Poirot thinks as well. But do we try to agitate him to get him talking? Or do we think by agitating him, we'll just sort of close him off? He seems already pretty on edge. Let's try to calm him down a bit.
I do not believe that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cust.
I hope not.
Insist on the fact that he enjoyed the war. Get him to talk about the army. Well, he was horribly injured, so I don't think we should do that.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
Accuse him of Dr. Clark's murder. Accuse him of the 3 murders. Get him to believe that he is innocent. I am going to go with this one. Something about this isn't right.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Ask him if he acknowledges going to the 3 towns. Say that witnesses saw him. Do you admit to going to these towns?
Do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
Ah, blood.
Poor man. If only I could help him.
Can I get you some more water, sir?
He is in no state to reply.
Yeah. Can I look at him?
Poor man.
No. Should
I
I?
am not going to leave before having finished questioning him.
Okay. I would like to...
Poor man.
Yeah?
If only I could help him.
Oh, we have his medicine! We have his medicine. It's this one. The other one's a sedative.
Take this. It will help you.
Thank you.
Think nothing of it.
Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well enough to speak?
Yes, I feel much better.
Good. Ask him if he acknowledges going to the 3 towns. Say that witnesses saw him. So should we just continue, or will this start him coughing again?
Do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot. But not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Ah.
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself. It proves that you wrote them.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Mm-hmm.
He is prey to a terrible anxiety. Is it remorse? Or simply the pressure of the questioning and the train journey?
I don't think I can help
He
him
is in no state to reply.
or talk to him. Can I give you the sedative?
Take this. It will help you.
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Also, thinking back to Betty's room, she had a note that was signed Adrian, right? Not Alexander. Talk to Jap.
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What do we know about Cust's health? He suffers from Hemoptysis. He brings up blood when he coughs. He says that he did not write the letters. He had blood on him. He has a problem with his throat. You'd expect a murder to keep newspaper articles all about his crimes, but Cust's collection starts in Churston, as though he heard about the cases late on. He suffers from absences. Cust is mentally and physically weak, not really the profile of our killer. Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt in the Churston murder? Did not write the letters. He had blood on him. Sir Carmichael was attacked from behind and the blood spurted out in the direction of the sea. He did not appear to recognize Poirot. He had no reason to kill them. Mrs. Marbury saw Cust's shirt with stains on the buttonholes. Okay. He didn't have a reason to kill them. Oh, no. It's his blood stains are inconsistency with the blood spray. You'd expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt? Yes. He did not recognize Poirot, and he had no reason. Okay. Oh, and it seems like he heard about the case later on. There are several details which show that Cust is not guilty. Can we say, without a shadow of a doubt, that Cust is guilty? He says he did not write the letters. He had blood on him. He had no reason to kill him. He had no reason, and he says he didn't write the letters.
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters, then with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
All right. Is Cust clever? Indeed. Let us look again at this murder, if you please. Okay, sure. Yeah, he's clever. Oh, right. The murderer we know is clever. He had blood on him. Declaration by Mrs. Marbury. Oh, it wasn't for pleasure. He was always unwell on trains. But he had to sell his stockings around England. I have to respect my engagements, he used to say. Cust is... Oops, that's not what I meant. Is parsimonious. Parsimonious? He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there's nothing left. It's clear that he did not grow up in luxury. Okay. The army was the place I didn't feel inferior. No questions, just orders to follow. He's mediocre. He likes to be told what to do. Declaration by Captain Hastings. Killed when the street was packed with people. That's rather bold. The killer is self-confident. Whereas Cust is hesitant and shy, therefore easy to influence. The man seduced Betty before taking her to the beach where he strangled her. He is a seducer. Whereas Cust Not the sort of man you'd notice, completely harmless. And without any charm. Even though the glasses make me weak in the knees, still, to this day. A passenger timetable. Maybe the murderer likes trains. Cust hates trains. The killer is methodical and prepares his crime meticulously. He never forgets to leave his intriguing signature behind. He's cold and calculating. No. Whereas he seems harmless. Well, they are both cold. Okay. Without the ABC, we might have suspected that Mr. Archer and Mr. Fraser, but by signing his crimes, the murderer is making sure that he is accused. In a way, the killer is generous. Whereas Cust is miserly.
You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
The employers of Cust, who sent him the typewriter.
To white heaven, please.
That is where my head goes.
Cust's arrest is a great success for you, Poirot. It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as we say.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait 1 moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Bring the revolver to Hastings. Hastings does love guns. Hastings, where do I keep my gun? Do I keep it on my desk? That was awesome. Where do I keep my gun? I turned on the fan. Excellent.
Ah, some cool hair.
Okay. Bring the revolver to Hastings. Okay. Hastings, is this revenge because I asked you to go get that mail that one time? I'm sorry about that. Where do I keep my gun? In my alligator? Oh.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait 1 moment, I will bring you my weapon.
I don't already have it, do I? No. Where? I don't think I can go through here. That's the mystery door. No one knows what's back there. On here? No. Oh, perhaps here.
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets. The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blancs.
Oh, I think I will choose blancs.
The revolver is loaded with blancs. I still have time to choose real bullets.
So... Oh. Hastings is a hunter. So I would assume that he has trigger discipline. He's also a captain, so maybe he was in the Navy. Again, he would have trigger discipline. He's trained with firearms. So I would think that he wouldn't shoot the gun unless someone needed to be killed. Right? Like if someone else was in mortal peril or whatever. And the blank wouldn't stop him, or the perpetrator, right? Who I'm starting to think is Clark. But anyway, we're gonna do blanks just because I have a feeling.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Yeah, we're gonna do blanks because I feel like someone's going to be killed that we wish wasn't killed. Even though I'd think that I should trust Hastings.
I don't trust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used. It is almost new. Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Ooh.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you, he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Why did the murderer make a mistake in the address? Body's still warm? No. A piece of envelope with the wrong address, okay? The letter's arrival date saved the murderer. Poirot's address is not very well known. The murderer challenged Poirot because he has an inferiority complex. The murderer challenged Poirot for glory. The error in the address caused the letter to be delivered late. The murderer challenged Poirot out of xenophobia. And the murderer warned Poirot about his murders. Oh my god, this is the shopkeeper lady? I really still hope it's her. The murderer always warned Poirot about his murders, so it saved the murderer. No. Poirot's address is not well known. That could be why he made a mistake. The error in the address caused the letter to be delivered late. Sure. A piece of envelope with a wrong address. Okay. I feel like I'm guessing again. I don't want to do that. So, why did the murderer make a mistake on the address? A piece of envelope with the wrong address. The letter's late arrival saved the murderer. Poirot's address is not well known. It saved the murderer. Okay. I'm gonna be real. I looked it up. I got frustrated. I get that the mistake was intentional. I just, for whatever reason, couldn't figure out the right words. Okay. Why did the killer send his letter to Hercule Poirot? To me, it seems like it was for glory. Because otherwise, why make such the spectacle with the taunting and stuff like that? The murderer challenged Poirot because he has an inferiority complex. That also seems wrong. Xenophobe also seems wrong. Why did the killer send his letters to Hercule Poirot? What? He wrote to Poirot because his address isn't very well known?
Is everything clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Interesting.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad. All the specialists agree that he does not have the profile of the psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Mr. Clark is starting to look more and more guilty. What do we know about Cust? He is easily influenced. He tries to overcome his travel sickness by traveling by train. Cust buys newspapers. Alice Asher and Betty Bernard are in Dr. Clark's medical records. Cust was a door-to-door salesman. It is a coincidence that he went to the... No, that's not a coincidence. Cust was in the war and has never been quite the same in the head since. Cust was wounded during the war. Cust is mentally fragile and easy to manipulate. How to explain Cust's presence at the scene of the crimes? The murderer found a way to access Dr. Clark's medical records and tried to burn them in order to hide his tracks. Cust was in the war and has never been quite the same in the head since. Cust went to Bexhill because he wanted to swim. I don't believe so. Cust was a door-to-door salesman. It is a coincidence that he went to the victims' towns. I wouldn't call it a coincidence. I mean, it seems like he was sent there. Would that be the medical records? Cust was manipulated. The killer made him go to those towns so as to hide his tracks. He did not kill the doctor.
Dr. Clark's patients' records provided a very useful list of potential victims, sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cust once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. he systematically sent Cuss to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from 3 completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that?
Say that just one murder is of interest to the killer. Probably that of the doctor, aka maybe his brother. Say that the murderer kills for pleasure. Say that the killer has developed a taste for murder. Say that there are 3 murderers. No, I don't think so.
Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle.
Indicate that Donald was treated by Dr. Clark. Indicate that Donald was resting at Churston. Indicate that Donald's firm worked for Clark. Ooh. I actually don't know. Indicate that Donald was treated. I don't think he was treated. So he was resting in Churston. Or that his firm worked for Clark. Perhaps this?
He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
So, clever. Is Donald clever? Is Donald clever? Megan really likes Donald Fraser. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous, a true gentleman. Mr. Poirot, since Betty's death, I've had doubts about myself. I don't know what to do, and I keep having a horrible dream. 3 nights in a row. He's a bright man with a promising career ahead of him. This could indicate he's clever. Yeah. Is he sure of himself? Megan likes him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He's always attentive and generous. Oh, he has doubts about himself. Interesting. He is a seducer. I mean, Megan likes him. Okay, just kidding. He would have made... It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started to shake, and kept saying, "One day, one day." Women seem to like him. I think Megan will take care of him. So yeah, he's a seducer. I sleep on the train. Oh, I do remember when he said that. I found that super suspicious. He likes trains. Is he impulsive? He's always attentive and generous. He is quick-tempered. Right. Is he generous? Yes. So there's really only one piece of the profile that doesn't fit here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Franklin Clark. Is he clever? All right. Thora is evasive. School report for Franklin Clark. According to his teachers, Franklin is a good student that lacked discipline. He is clever. Is he self-confident? Take Franklin. He's fallen for her sweet-talking charms. He's a lovely boy, very plucky and sure of himself, but he's so naive when it comes to women. He is self-confident. Is he a seducer? Miss Gray is already being courted by Franklin Clark. He is a seducer. Does Franklin like trains? Ah, The Railway Children is his favorite book. Interesting. It's weird that we didn't ask anyone else that question. Is Franklin impulsive? Dear Franklin, first I wish you a good start to the successful new year. I have received your letter dated December 10th. Thanks for defending my interests against Wang, this robber. Things could have gone pretty bad if you weren't a real cool-blooded guy. He is cold. Franklin Clark. Things aren't looking good for you. Ah, and yes, he paid for Mrs. Drower's train ticket. He is generous. Very, very interesting.
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly.
Say that Thora Gray bothered him. Say that Franklin was impatient. Ah. Perhaps he was worried if his brother continued to live, he might remarry Thora Gray after his wife passed away, and then she'd get everything.
Because of Miss Gray. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Gray had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh no, you know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien voilà, light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff.
Invent an item of proof found in Alice Asher's tobacco shop. Lie about fingerprints found on Cust's typewriter. Say that the proof is going to be easy to find. What would the easy to find proof be? I don't know. I feel like this is what we do. because it's not necessarily a lie.
Proof is easy to find now that we know where to look.
You have nothing on me. You're bluffing, Mr. Poirot. Come on, Thora, there's nothing for us to do here.
Don't touch me.
Thora!
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter, and why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
All right. Well played. I lose. The game's up.
Ready yourself. Yep.
Don't come near me!
Okay.
I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot!
Oh my god. Wow.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clark. There is no easy death for you.
Wow.
I expected your reaction, so I used blanks. I'm sorry, mademoiselle, but your second chance has been lost. Franklin Clark will never inherit his brother's fortune.
Holy cow.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married. On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent, the incredible story of ABC. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
All right. Based on the novel The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. That was a very interesting ending. I was starting to expect Franklin toward the end, although I do remember during the group interrogation when he offered to pay for the train ticket for Miss Asher, I was like, oh, he seems like a really nice guy, not thinking about the fact that one of our profile attributes for the killer was being generous. So that was very, very interesting. I am very glad we decided to put blanks in the gun, because I feel like this, out of those two options, would have been considered the good ending. So that feels good. Yeah, overall, I thought this game was incredibly fun. There was definitely a couple of moments where I got frustrated with puzzles, or although the art style was very, very cool, it did make it a little bit difficult to find environmental clues at times, specifically in Cust's room. I do find it interesting that the landlady seemed so guilty, seemed so suspicious of something, and yet no, she just happened to know all sorts of stuff. So very, very interesting. I do think I want to take a look at some of the bonuses. I don't know exactly what they are. All right, so that's how we ended it, at 475 out of 600 ego points. All right. Not too bad, I don't think. All right, so we could do the reconstructions over again. There's a timeline. Oh, what is this?
When Franklin understands that his brother's inheritance is going to be stolen from under his nose, he decides to get rid of him. In order not to be considered as a suspect, he has the idea of including the murder as part of a series that the police would put down to a madman. Franklin
Interesting. I think it's just going to restate pretty much everything that Poirot said toward the end of the game. So I don't think we need to go through all that again, considering we just went over it. But let's take a look at the trophies. All right. Okay, so there's a couple that we missed. Yeah. I love that we found this by sitting in his chair. That's hilarious. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. This has been ABC Murders. I'm going to have to start thinking about what to play for our next series. I loved this one. So yeah, stay tuned for whatever we move on to next. If you enjoyed this video, please take a look at some of the other series that we've got going. If you liked this one, I'm sure you'll like one of those. But thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.